you know the basics of what a company does, the product does, how it can help that person specifically, great, then you can do it. And then two, you match that EQ, IQ, boom.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We went ahead and handled the rest of the conversation just in the last 2 points.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hey there, I'm Graham, and you're listening to the Sales Nerds Live podcast. What piece of advice would you give yourself on your first day working in sales?
Stop talking so much. Don't over talk. I still to this day tell myself that because I am an over talker 100%. I'm doing it right now.
On today's episode of Sales Nerds Live, host Graham Collins welcomes Amelia Taylor, an account executive at the Carabiner Group. They talk about prospecting tips and so much more. Let's dive in. Sales Nerds Live is brought to you by your friends at QuotaPath. QuotaPath removes the manual lift out of sales commissions by automating the compensation process. We calculate and track your team's commissions, prepare them for payouts, and even give your reps the ability to forecast attainment and future earnings. We're the only solution loved by reps, leadership, and finance. Come nerd out with us on Sales Nerds Live.
I believe that we are live. Hi, Amelia.
Woo! Hey, Graham, how are you? I'm super pumped to be here.
I'm good. I'm happy to have you. Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of Sales Nerds Live. Today's topic is going to be prospecting tips from a cold calling champ. And our guest today is Amelia Taylor. She's an account executive over at Carabiner Group. I was actually on the phone just before this with somebody at Carabiner Group. So there's a lot of overlaps here, but and she's a cold call extraordinaire. Can you give us just a quick introduction of who you are and what Carabiner Group is and what you do there?
Yeah, for sure. So I am in Tampa. I'm with my two little girls. And that's my why for everything is that whatever I say I'm going to do, and I will do, not can. I am an account executive over there, like you said, and I'm selling our services to those who need it. And it's a little bit of a different role than you hear a lot. I actually had someone reach out to me yesterday saying, "Hey, what's it like selling RevOps?" It's kind of an interesting role, just because it's like, "Hey, I'm an AE for XYZ company or it's a product, not specific services." So it's become a super fun challenge to figure out how to do that in the very best way and to really resonate my messaging to those who are just looking for help or guidance or soundboards. So really it's offering help a lot. And then relationship building there. And so Carabiner is a full stop RevOps as a service company. So from A to Z, we've got in-house people who handle all the things RevOps under that big umbrella, from your tech stack to, okay, we have zero clue how we're going to grow, or we've grown way too quickly and we don't know what to do with all these bodies, and help us. So that's really the lowdown on all of it.
I've known Carabiner Group for a while, Cliff and the folks over there. So I think Cliff beat me out for Pavilion Member of the Year last year, so that's all right. I won't hold that against him, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you're not better.
Awesome. Well, so I have a few questions I want to ask you, and some of them are related to cold calling. Some of them are related to some of the things that you do exceptionally well as well. One that came up on the description of the event is, we promised people we would teach them what your most effective greeting is for a cold call. So right out the gate, I'm curious about that.
So I'm a fan of, people can love it, hate it, don't care. I'm a fan of the how are you, because I think it's my Southern roots over here that's just what you do. Because I'll be honest with people, if they say, how are you? I'm like, today is the worst. Like, I thought it was, I thought it was Friday. It's a Tuesday and it's 1:00 in the afternoon, Like, I'll be transparent because I'd rather them break down their barriers if I have mine broken down. So that's just that, I'd rather be human.
How are you doing?
I hit them with that. And then I hit them with that, I have an idea for you. And they're like, okay. And my SDR days, that was never anything I would ever say. I don't know where it came from, but it was where it just kind of generated over these cold calling sessions of, okay, it is an idea for this person, how they can grow and scale. So it makes sense. Why not? That's helping them. Hey, I've got an idea for you. I'm helping. I'm not trying to sell you.
I've heard conflicting opinions around the like, do you have a minute, or did I catch you at a bad time?
Yeah.
Do you have opinions around that?
I do. I don't like it. The 27 seconds, let's nix it forever, everyone. I don't like it. But you know what? Some things work for others that don't work for other people, right? Like, so there was one guy I worked with at some point, he told me that his like best thing that he ever said to people, and it worked like a charm, was, may I make a suggestion? And when they would kind of come back with something, so I tried it. It didn't roll off my tongue at all. And so I'm like, maybe I didn't even make sense. I'm like, okay, yeah, failed, butchered that one. That's not my line. But, you know, I figured out what I do best, you know, the way I communicate best and what resonates best with how I felt. But it still can be the same messaging we're sending, but we're just sending it in two different ways, kind of veering off. But I'm not a fan of the whole, let's all be on the same playing field, in the sense of we're all like, there's salespeople calling salespeople. If that's happening, we have that common understanding already there. We're not talking about it, but it's there. We're in sales. I'm calling you, this is a sales call. I'm not a fan of that one either. This is a sales call.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also depends on your audience. It depends on your audience as well. Like I'm historically, I've called into public relations departments and marketing departments, and selling into those folks. I then also sold into finance for a while. I'll tell you, my favorite buyers of all time, German CFOs. I sold to German CFOs for a period of time. Just the perfect buyer. They never lie to you. They do everything they say they're going to just. If all I could do is sell to German CFOs, I'd be a happy man. But
you know, I'm loving the Aussies. I'm loving the Australians. The C-suite, they're great. Also, Canadian leaders are wonderful. They've been great. They're so kind.
Of course.
Shout out to all of y'all.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so one thing that you do a great job of, and you talk a lot about, is social selling. And I think that a lot of people in their head, when they think about social selling, the bad version of social selling comes to mind, which is send out a cold LinkedIn invite as soon as they accept. You know, the second they accept, you send a canned message on LinkedIn, and then you have a cadence to follow up every 2 days. And I get probably 10 or 15 of those a day. And sometimes I just delete, remove the connection immediately. Sometimes I just don't have time and don't bother with it. But so how do you define social selling, and how does it work for you?
I mean, it's got to be extremely strategic when you social sell. I mean, it's got to be not this mass list of people who fit your target audience, right? It's got to be narrowed down to this ICP based off of, okay, what series are you? What industry is this? What the ICP, like, are you C-suite? Are you are you a, kind of middle tier marketing person? Are you a middle tier, middle management kind of salesperson? Or are you a rep? Are you actually the one that's the end user? It really is where you've got to define how your outreach is going to go. I think a lot of social selling is built on building champion relationships within companies. I think the aspect of building champions, having those who are going to be talking about what your conversations are when you're not in the room with those internally, is so important to be able to know, like, okay, we're on the same page. Hey, got your back, you got mine. And then let's have this use case and let's figure it out and let's go to the top together to do so. Champion relationships are game changers, I think. And then it's, social selling is also let's figure out how to do things where it's not this like blast everybody with this automated messaging, and where it's I know that you have those variables and my name is just inserted into that variable, that section right there.
Yeah.
I know this for a fact. And it's just, and then if it's every 2 days, I'm like, I know what's going on. I know what you're doing. Thinking about things in such a, like, let's work smarter, not harder. And even if you think you're working harder by doing automation, doesn't necessarily mean you're doing that because it's not strategic. It's not geared towards someone specifically based off of what you can do to help solve XYZ problems that others are having in the industry.
Yeah, I think the worst sin of cold messaging is putting the wrong name. I think that I don't know what's worse, where it says, hey, insert name, or hey, Sarah, for instead. I got one of those today where a LinkedIn message, hey, Sarah.
I'm Amanda all the time. I'm always Amanda or Emily. And I'm like,
at least they just misread it at that point.
I mean,
I'm talking about
Sarah,
they just tried to copy paste. I got a hi Sarah, and then they had the wherewithal to edit the message. Yeah. So they did change it to hey Graham, but I saw it at hey Sarah, and I went, no, not happening.
Yeah, no. But I like to help in that regard too, because I had people who helped me along the way when I was first learning things with. Okay, what does SDR mean? Or what is AE? What are those acronyms, right? Like from the very bottom, what am I doing? And so I remember this guy, it was my first like SDR gig. He stopped me in the middle of my pitch. He goes, can I help you for a second? He's the VP of sales. And I don't really remember the advice he gave me, but I remember him stopping and saying, let me coach you for 5 minutes because I do this all day. And it was so impactful to me, not the advice because I don't remember, but the fact that he just simply took the time to help someone he doesn't know, just because that taught me, okay, when you give and you help, that by itself is building that trust. And if there's not this established trust, nobody's going to buy from you. And nobody's going to think that, they won't. Why would they buy from someone they don't trust? That's
exactly.
Plain and simple, they won't. So.
And so I'm interested when it comes to the social selling, you've talked a lot about like kind of mid funnel, bottom funnel, trying to get consensus buying and champion buy-in. Do you do any top of funnel social selling when it comes to just demand gen?
Yeah, a lot of it. And you know what, I'm pretty, I'll see a need. So I do a lot through Slack. That has been my top, LinkedIn really was, I guess, I would say a year ago, LinkedIn would have been my main place where I was doing social selling.
LinkedIn is so 2020 at this point, though. It's like,
2020. Like, what is like next year? Oh my gosh, MySpace is back. I don't know. We've got our top 7. I don't know. But Vine, whatever that was, I don't remember all those. Airtable has this awesome list of all these Slack communities. So go where your buyers are at. So, I know that we are the quota path is both, with RevOps Co-op within the Slack community. We're both like channel partners and all that, which is amazing. And so there's been a lot of people who will just ask for help, right? Like, hey, I'm looking for someone who can help me do X, Y, Z. I might not be the person who can help with that. Our team might not be that, but I know someone I can give you an intro to. And that's
cool.
Planting those seeds. So that's, I think that builds trust in and of itself too. I've had 2 PE firms who have reached out to me on their own, I guess in the past 4 or 5 months, because they had seen a comment I did on someone else's post that wasn't helping me. It wasn't generating revenue for me by any means, but it was generating this ROI that was a return on me just helping someone and giving them an intro to someone they needed to talk to somewhere else. So it's cool to see how things it's like a garden is how I think of things. It's like, you got these seeds, you got to plant them. You've got to water them like the right way though. Like not every seed needs to be like dumped full of water on. Like you can't just like, boom, here's my messaging, like bye. It's just like a little bit of water here, a little bit of water here. Oh, this one needs attention. Great. But just nurture the things that are in your garden. You don't have to have this massive garden either to have it really, really fruitful. It can be fruitful because you're being strategic with who it is that you are planting seeds with. So,
I do this pretty regularly as well in communities. So, RevOps Co-op and on Pavilion and Rev Genius, all different types there where I talk a lot about sales compensation and comp plans. And whenever anybody has a question, I try to chime in. I try to say, hey, here's my answer to it. And it's actually been pretty valuable for me also to build my expertise. And a few times I've read other people's responses. And then another thing is that sometimes this has given me ideas for blog posts or content.
Oh, yeah.
Where like, oh, people don't know. I had the other day somebody say, how should I compensate a bluebird deal? A deal that is, this person closed a deal that's 150% of their quota, their quarterly quota in one deal. And it's the first week of the quarter. Like, how do I compensate that? And so I had a conversation with them. And then I also wrote a blog post about it, and I published that blog post. And so I see what you're saying, right? Like, you plant those seeds and people may not buy from you immediately, but they begin seeing you as an expert and come to you for other things.
Exactly. And that's where referrals come from too, right? Like, that's where there's that avenue. Okay, you're the C-suite guy is talking to the other C-suite girl, guy, whatever, and they're saying, no, we're looking for this. We're like struggling over here with this. We need this, whatever it may be. We're trying to stand up Salesforce. We don't have somebody internally. Great. Oh, I actually talked to this girl, Amelia. Like, I know that the Carabiner does that, that kind of thing. And it's great. Here's an intro. Boom. Or they reach out to me, hey, can I give you an intro to this person? Absolutely. It goes full circle when you help. It absolutely does.
Yeah. And I'm over here trying to scribble questions down as well, but trying to do it in like the least conspicuous way possible.
Just do it.
We'll I know. I'm like, I usually have a pen and paper, and then it's less, but I don't have my pen right now, so I'm trying to type it up on my side.
You're like not trying to sound like you've got all the typey sounds. Yeah, no, exactly. You're great. You're great.
Well, so I'm super interested in how long it takes you to see that payoff. I'm a gardener. I haven't been watering the past couple of days because it's been raining, and I actually miss it because I love watering my garden. Because
I planted flowers last night, actually. My kids went to sleep and it was 9 o'clock at night. What in the world was I doing with my life? I don't know, but it was a good idea and I needed it. It was therapeutic.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I think that's where I'm curious about is I grow zucchini. You don't put a zucchini plant in and then immediately like a cold call. A cold call would be an instant,
right?
But building that social, the social selling or social whatever you want to call it, it takes a long time. So what do you have a time frame that you expect folks to have to do this before they start seeing results?
I think it depends. It's a tricky question a little bit, I think, because there's been times where I've seen pretty quick turnaround with it being. I'm a fan. I know that people are going to kind of hate on this too, with the same as the opening. How are you? Asking that. Yeah. I am a fan of making life easy for everyone and saying, for the sake of simplicity, if it makes sense, here's my calendar link. Either way, cheering for your success. Reach out anytime if you need anything. Kind of, sending whatever it is, like, hey, happy to help and chat about this. My messaging. Then, for the sake of simplicity, either way, though, making it very nonchalant. And sometimes it's like, boom, they booked. We're chatting in an hour. Because and they're like, hey, and then they'll say, I appreciate that you just did that like that. I read Kyle Lacey had put something on LinkedIn. I don't know. 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. And it resonated with me so much because he said, make my life easier. If you want time to talk with me, just give me a calendar link. I don't want to go searching and figuring it out. And I was like, you know what? It does make sense. It might be in someone's signature, but not in their email. But are you blasting everybody out like that? So through Slack, it's really easy to do that. Also, if it's a quick hey, are you free for 5 minutes? Great. Let's huddle. Let's do a quick huddle. And that's really kind of like a texting line. You got to figure out if it's really oh, is this too much? Right. Yesterday, I had someone where we did a quick video call. We were already messaging back and forth on LinkedIn. So I'm like, all right, you're free. I'm free. Great. Hey, do you have 5 minutes? I clicked the little video thing. I've never done this.
No, I've never done. I didn't even know can you video within LinkedIn?
Instant meeting you can do.
It's kind of terrifying. Okay, all right, didn't know that.
Totally terrifying. They had to accept. So granted, whatever. But you can just be right there, okay, are they gonna get on this meeting or not? He did. Great. We chatted. It was a great conversation. But it's just so funny how there's ways to make life easier and move the needle a bit by not pushing. It's just by doing the right next, the best next thing of making life easy for everybody. I don't want to work harder. I want to work smarter. I don't, that goes for everybody, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that I'm hoping we've moved past as a culture the it being passe to send your Calendly link. Like,
I don't know. People are still sassy about it. The sassy people out
I
there.
haven't encountered that a ton, but like, it's so much easier. It's so much easier.
So much.
And here's my pro tip. I bought meetwithgraham.com and it just redirects to my Calendly. It's $10 a year. It just, that way you can like, I'm telling you, after this, I'll teach you how to do it. It's incredibly easy. You just meet with Amelia or like, ameliascalendar.com or whatever. Oh, incredibly easy.
I like the meet with Graham. That, see, this is great. I love this. Okay, so you brought up dark social. So let's go there real quick.
Okay, tell me about that.
I'm all about that. Let's clarify real quick. It is not the dark web. Okay,
because it has negative connotations here for sure. Dark.
It sounds dark. It does. It's not that dark. It literally is classified as anything. This is a very loose kind of description that goes for like texting or either, Slack. It's a lot of the social selling aspects of reaching your buyer where they're at, finding where your buyer lives. If they're in WhatsApp groups galore, great. Let's go there. Let's figure out where they are kind of in this underground way of doing things, but it's easier because your buyer already is right there. And so join the Slack communities that are where, what your buyers, who your ICP is. Great. That's where you can communicate. That's where you're seeing what industry trends are. You can see where the market's going and just gain, like you were saying earlier, like you're gaining knowledge too, and these insights from, blog posts and whatnot. Then you're able to create this content to where you're able to build this presence of being I think thought leader or whatever. I think all those things are very buzzwordy, but of just someone that is, okay, I can trust this person. They're actually delivering value. And it's not just like they're saying it just to say it because somebody else said it and this is their own rendition of what they're sharing, which you see all the time, right? It's okay, they thought about this and this is their own content. Like their thoughts put into this space. And they're sharing it because it's beneficial and it's going to help other people. So when you're seen as a helper opposed to a seller, you're going to sell more. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah. And I think that's the humanizing component as well, where like, if I want a demo, it's incredibly easy for somebody to just think of me as like I could just be a recording. It doesn't really to them, whatever, like maybe it's a recording that asks you a question every once in a while. But if I'm in a group demo and immediately I then find that they're in RevOps Co-op or in Pavilion and I Slack them and I say like, hey, just wanted to check in. I know that you didn't seem super engaged during the demo. Is everything okay? Like whatever.
Yes, the follow-up is huge. The follow-up game is like, if you want to social sell and social sell well, it's the follow-up and it's the feedback loops of what went well, what didn't work well, gathering that insight because that builds trust too. Wanting to know what works and what doesn't work. Oh, this person cares enough to be good and really good and master their craft at what they're doing. So I wildly missed, I think, across the board when it comes to sales. People there's ego problems galore if you just look around, right? So it's like, oh, I don't need help. But yeah, everybody does. Like, so stop it, everyone. No one is like, I'm in this whole holier than thou thing. It really is every single person. You learn one thing from anybody that you talk to. You absolutely can. And, when you go and start doing this social aspect of things, it's kind of crazy. The conversations that you start having with people that might not benefit you right then. Like I said, this is the referrals. And those are the people who you can trust too, who you can say, hey, is this the worst thing you've ever heard? Is this resonating or no? Like I did that with Morgan Ingram not long ago. I crafted this thing and he's like, I don't know if I'm loving it. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like I needed to hear that because I was going to send this to people that I thought it made sense to send to. And he's like, I don't think this is going to be where you should kind of go. But what if we try this? But because I put these deposits in with him, with certain people to where I'm pouring into them, they're pouring back into me because it's just giving. And then there's this circle of people, kind of your tribe, that are going to have your back, they're in your corner, who are going to help you win. And you just got to find the people that are, there's this, there's the weeds, right? Let's go back to the garden, right? Like you've got to pull the weeds out because those are inevitable that are going to kind of want to try to ruin your garden. But you've got to stay on top of things in order, like you said, like you've got to have that after the fact, like, hey, how was that? You didn't seem like it was really you weren't feeling it. We weren't vibing on that one. Like, was it how it went? Did we not ask enough questions? What's up? And just be normal. What's up? Wow, tell me.
Just be normal. There, all right.
Be normal.
We got a couple of great pieces of advice here, and one is just be normal. And I think that's
be
super
human,
true.
Be normal.
Like, it's like, I think that people often have this negative connotation of salespeople as like, fast talking, sleazy people who come in and try to just sell you whatever. But there are people like you, and I hope like me, who are people and who it's as long as you're treated that way, then everybody's better off, because I'm here to help you. If the answer is no, the answer is no. Like I always say that the best answer you can get in sales is yes. The second best is no, because then at least you can find something out. But
you learn, the no's, and I think it goes for everything in life, right? Like if you don't have the like test of that no, okay, what do I do with this no? Like there's not the kind of like a cliche thing to say, but like there's not the testimony of how it's going to work, like how you can figure out how to best switch that no, or figure out how that's going to be beneficial for your gains. So you're not losing with a no, you're either learning or you're growing. Right. It's the mindset of, okay, which one? Okay, great. You said no. There's a lot of other people in the world, but let me ask you, like, why? Figure out why. And people everybody's favorite topic is themselves, right? Like they love talking about themselves. So ask them, what did you think? They'll love that. They'll love to be able to spit out what their thoughts were. And there's a trust game there. And then, the foundation is laid for a good relationship just to be established. Relationships and selling go hand in hand.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
We are going a little long here, so I'm gonna cut to our last three questions, which is the same three questions that I ask everybody at the end of this. And so fortunately I prepped you on these, so you don't have to act like you haven't heard them. That's okay. So
you did I didn't go over them because I wanted to be surprised a little bit
okay.
too.
All right. There you go.
I like that.
Number one, what piece of advice would you give yourself on your first day working in sales?
Stop talking so much. Don't over talk. I still to this day tell myself that. Still, because I am an over talker. 100%. I'm doing it right now.
How would you coach yourself to not talk as much?
I would find someone who's really good at not talking so much, and literally working alongside them to leverage that. And there's so many courses and things out there, but you don't know what you don't know. And especially starting out in sales, it's like, whoa, what are all these different things people are doing? What is, what am I even doing with my life? But I've got to make this many dials. Are you kidding me? Like I've got to just book meetings. I don't get it. But it's very, I think it's, when you've got things in your back pocket that it's not like in a sleazy kind of way, whatever, but it's where you've got that ammo of, okay, there's the no, it's that rebuttal thing, but you're also, I've got more value to give you. But what if this doesn't happen? What happens then? Asking the right questions too would be those go hand in hand, actually.
Yeah, no, they do, because it's easy to just talk instead of listen.
Listening is like the key to, because you can ask the right questions. And if you don't know what they're even talking about at all, then have a set thing of questions that are very kind of generic but geared towards them. Well, if you guys don't do this, like what would happen? Asking them to think and then give you more information. So then you can go back to, okay, maybe now I've got a little time to think, I've got 30 seconds to think. And then, it's questioning and listening. So important.
All right. Question number 2. If you weren't in sales, what else would you be doing?
Sales, I think like most people that fell into my lap, like I did not expect to do that. I'd be doing real estate more than likely, and I'd be writing more. I love to write. I love it. It's my outlet. I would definitely be I did the whole stay-at-home mommy thing for a little bit. I can't. I'm sorry, it's not me. I love my children, but it's not me. They're amazing. They're little crazy, little tiny human girls, but I love them more than anything. But it's where I am so independent, and I need to feel that like I accomplished this, apart from like I cooked dinner and didn't burn it because I suck at clean. I totally suck at it. But side note, yeah, I mean, it would definitely, or
writer or real estate, you think?
Yeah, real estate's like a passion of mine for sure. I mean, I was in real estate for a while before sales, which is sales too. I don't really know. Or I'd be, dang.
That's right.
No, I've been trying to come up with something like really like, I can't draw stick figures. I would not be an artist. Can't dance, save my life. Still will. Can't sing. Still do. So maybe, pursue like those passions. Who knows? Just kidding. That would be terrible. No, I'd be creating something. I'd be creating something.
That kind of leads us into the next question of so last question here. What are you watching, reading, listening to right now, whether it's work related, unwork related, It doesn't matter.
So right now, I'm looking at it right now. So right now I'm reading the Jeff Bezos book, The Invent and Wander, and it is great. It is super interesting. I didn't know he had his whole space thing. I had no clue that he had the space thing going on too, like Elon, which Elon took that over, right? But he took over space. It's fine. Named his kid after something in space. Who knows? But and then took it back. I don't know. But he has this whole thing about the like one step at a time. Like I think the whole model of what they wanted to do, and kind of like their theme for the whole space endeavor stuff that they were doing, it was one step at a time, taking one step at a time fiercely. And I thought that was so powerful because I'm a big like one stair at a time kind of person, not the whole staircase, because then that's the overwhelming thing. That's a quote that I kind of live by. So when I read that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Fiercely, like you're doing it with intentionality. Then you're also got this like passion behind the fierceness, So I'm reading that right now. Green Light by Matthew McConaughey is one of the greatest things I've ever read in my whole entire life. Okay. Everyone should go get the audio version because he does it. So, makes sense.
Yeah, we have a lot of. Our office is in Austin, and we have an office in Austin. And so you're winning a lot of points with the Austinites. So
yeah, love it. No, awesome. It's amazing.
Well, so plugs. Any last minute plugs here that you want to do for Carabiner Group, where people can follow you, find you, get in contact with you?
Yeah. Hey, I want to meet people at Faster, Dreamforce. I'm going to both. So. Okay.
We have a booth at Faster as well, so come on by.
I love it. Yay, good. Plug it and plug it. Let's plug together. So go to the QuotaPath one, come by Carabiner, come. I just want to meet people and network well. And I want to see kind of what's going on in the industry. I just want to know who people are and then get their hype too. I want to see people are actually like who they are on camera, which is a great, fun game to play. And just having good, it's something different about meeting people in person. It's so awesome. A different thing altogether. So if you're going to Faster or Dreamforce, especially Faster, let me know. Let's plan to meet up, say hello. Also, LinkedIn, I've got my contact information there. I try to get back to everybody, as soon as I can. So, but, love to help in any way with your growth. And this has been awesome. I'm really happy that y'all invited me to be on here, Graham. This is great.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And I would be remiss. We're trying to break our all-time high record on number of demo requests this week. We had a really big launch, and so we're working on trying to break that. And so for those of you who are listening who haven't checked out QuotaPath, head on to quotapath.com, request a demo. We're commission tracking software, incredibly cool, really powerful stuff. So there's my plug and me doing my job.
I
to try to
love that.
Record, so
yeah, y'all go help and go get them demos. Go do it. I'm gonna go do it.
This is a telethon now. I think we turned it into a dial in now 1-800. No, all right, Amelia.
It's like 1 a.m.
this was a blast, and
Yes, thank
really
you.
appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.